Hello and welcome to Painting Panzers. My name's Christian and today we're going to be taking a look at a 20mm US Airborne figure. Now this particular figure is from Colonel Muller and his range of figures. Now if that name rings a bell, you wouldn't be mistaken. I actually reviewed some of his 28mm German figures recently, and this is a 28mm US Airborne figure that's been scaled down by Mardav Miniatures to 20mm. Now this is a question that was asked a lot on that video, if you can scale them down, and the answer is a big massive yes, and hopefully this tutorial will prove that point and really convince you to grab some smaller scale Colonel Muller figures. But yeah, let's get stuck into this US Airborne figure. Now, if you want to pick up this scaled down version of the Colonel Muller miniature, you can find it at Mardav Miniatures. They've got a massive range of tanks and vehicles and infantry. You'll be able to find the US Airborne obviously in the US section. They've got a whole variety of Colonel Muller's US paras, so just pick the size that you want. You can see you've got smaller or bigger, and yeah, you'll be laughing. Now, if you do want to find the actual STLs for these, you can find them at his website, and you can go ahead and grab them if you've got your own 3D printer. So to start off with, I'm going to give my 3D print a coat of Tamiya Surface Primer Light Grey, and then I'm going to paint the uniform in khaki. So I'm going slightly different to how I've painted US paras before. Obviously I'm going for more of a Normandy theme, because if I wanted to go with Market Garden and such a bit later in the war, there'd be more in their olive green uniform. But for this, I'm going to be going with khaki, again very reminiscent of Band of Brothers sort of style Normandy uniforms. So yeah, hopefully you will enjoy what's coming. Then for the webbing, I'm going to be using US Field Drab. So this is different to my other ones, as I've said. I normally use US Field Drab for the uniform, but I've actually switched it around. I'm going to be using khaki for the uniform and US Field Drab for all of the webbing. So you can see I'm painting the backpack, the webbing, so pretty much all of the webbing, as well as the rifle strap, will get a coat of that as well. And then US dark green is what I'm going to be using for the helmet, bazookas, machine guns, all of that good stuff. Anything that's got like a dark green sort of colour to it, is what I'm going to be using for this one. And these Mardav prints are really, really nice. So yeah, please do check them out if you are in the market for some, if you don't have a 3D printer. Then US Olive Drab is what I'm going to be using for the reinforced knee pads and elbow pads. Now, try not to do what I did. I painted over them, not realizing that they were actually detailed on. I only saw when the paint was dry. I was like, uh-oh. So yeah, try and paint them if you can before you do it. It doesn't really matter. That was very easy to fix up. So Flat Earth is the next color I'm going to be using for the M1 Garand, and obviously any other wooden item. Again, lots of detail on here. I love the fact he's got the magazine in hand and he's just putting it into, the ammo into his M1 Garand. I'm also painting his shovel of his, handle of his shovel, getting it all mixed up today, in that colour too. And then black grey is what I'm going to be using for the metal areas of this rifle, as well as the top of his water bottle. And as obviously any other metal areas. Oh, and the soles of his boots as well. Although I put most of my texture over the top of that anyway, so you probably won't see it. So if you want to skip a step, you can definitely do that. But it's probably worth doing just for the sake of it. Then mahogany brown is what I'm going to be using for those like red leather colours. So that's his boots, his chin strap, and his pistol holster. We'll look at that in just a moment. But for now, I'm going to be painting the boots. And yeah, giving them a really nice coat of this mahogany brown. You can see it's a perfect colour for that iconic sort of US red leather. And then we're painting his pistol pouch in that colour, or holster in that colour, as well as that chin strap. Now for his gloves, because he's wearing gloves, I'm going to be using dark yellow. Probably want to avoid like a straight up really flat sort of yellow. A dark yellow is going to be perfect for this, because they were dark in nature. They were yellow, but they were very dark in colour from what I've seen. And then for the sheath of the bayonet or his jump knife, I'm going to be using burnt umber. I've zoomed it in slightly just so you can get an appreciation of what I'm doing. Look at the detail as well. I mean, I've zoomed in. There's so much detail on this figure, and this is a print as well. It just absolutely blows my mind that we've got to this level of amazing prints. Alright, old wood is what I'm going to be using for the scrim. You can experiment and use greens and browns, but I like old wood. I think it looks a lot better, especially for wargaming, but we will have our own tastes. And then Stonewall Grey is what I'm going to be using for the extra bit of paracord. I think this is on his back here. And now I'm giving him a wash of Naught Oil and Lamium Medium from Warhammer, giving him a nice coat. Not too heavy though, not too heavy, because these 3D prints, the details aren't as raised as like your traditional sort of metal or your toy soldiers. So you just want to make sure it doesn't pull heavily on a flat surface and hide some of the detail that you want to capture. And once that's dry, we can then hit it with khaki and German camo beige World War II at a 1:1 ratio, and just paint the raised areas and leave that original washed base colour in the recesses. Now there's lots of details on it. Look at the pocket, for example, on his arm. There's lots of details there and seams for the pockets. So just make sure you're capturing those and just slowly scratching it. You can see how I'm scratching in. I'm not painting on a big blob of paint. I'm literally just taking my time, little scratches here and there until it all sort of aligns and looks really nice. And then US Field Drab and German Camo Beige World War II at a 1:1 ratio is what I'm going to be using for the webbing. So when you look at US Airborne uniforms and equipment, they're all very similar, especially for normally their colours look almost, you know, exactly the same. So you want to try and make them look similar. That's why I've gone with this sort of combination. I think it actually works well. They stand out just enough that you can see that they're obviously different shades of the same sort of colour. So yeah, that's what I've gone with, and as I said before, that I'm doing the sling for the rifle there. And then US Olive Drab and German Camo Beige World War II is what I'm going to be using for those reinforced elbow and knee pads, and obviously if you had any other green item on there, but not the helmet. We're going to be using German Camo Beige World War II for the helmet, and I'm just dry brushing very lightly over the top just to capture the beautiful netting that's on this particular model and really make it stand out. You can see even with that subtle little dry brush, that netting really pops now. And then for the scrim on the helmet, I'm going to be using old wood and Iraqi sand at a 1:1 ratio and just picking out those nice raised areas, and you can see that that scrim is really starting to pop already, and that's with very little effort. Just that nice mixture of old wood and Iraqi sand to really get it popping. Now flat earth and orange brown is what I'm going to be using for the wood, and I'm just scratching in nice little lines to try and simulate some sort of wood grains. It's very difficult with this scale to make it look perfect like that, but this method has worked for me and it gets quite a few compliments, so it should work for you as well. And then use that orange brown as well and just repeat the same process, obviously not putting on as much orange brown, just nice little scratches, and that wood is going to give you a nice sort of new wood colour. So for the metal areas, we're going to use black grey and basalt grey at a 1:1 ratio, and just really leaving all of that original base colour in the recesses, and then everything else is getting a nice coat, as you can see. And those metal areas are going to really start to pop. And then to finish it off, I'm going to use basalt grey, and this is just adding in a couple of little lines, specifically where you want the eye to be drawn to. So obviously you want the muzzle and all of that looking really nice, as well as the trigger and the stock on the back, the support for the stock on the back at least anyway. Just nice little lines there. Then for the flesh, I'm going to be using light flesh from AK Interactive. It's always my go-to AK light flesh. I think it just looks so good for a khaki flesh colour. And then dark yellow is my next colour of choice for the gloves. So I'm reusing the exact same colour again. I'm not going to be doing anything too crazy with this, just this dark yellow, and those gloves are really going to stand out once that dark yellow has been applied nicely. But leaving the original washed colour in those recesses, so in all those grooves. Now you can apply flesh wash from Vallejo to the skin, and that's going to give us a nice pinky red wash, and that's going to go in the eye sockets and the mouth and such. And whilst that's drying, I'm going to hit the clip here with some magazine, So with some magazine, with some code. And just, yeah, I love this sculpt. I think it's just absolutely fantastic. I love the clip going in there. And I'm using that Stonewall Grey again, just picking out those little lines there. You can see that chord is really looking good. And then light flesh I'm going to be using to go over the flesh areas, so painting the top of the brow, the nose, the cheeks and the chin, but leaving that original wash base colour between the nose and the cheeks and around the mouth and such, and any other crease lines, but connecting the chin and the cheeks together. And then I use light flesh and highlight flesh, and I just add a little line on the nose, maybe each nostril, a little line on top of each eyebrow, a little line underneath the eye socket and running down close to the side of the nose but not actually touching, and then a little line on the chin. Try not to connect the cheeks and the chin together with this line. Now we can use mahogany brown again for those red leathery items, and I'm just going over them. I'm not going to be painting them in a lighter colour. I'm just going to be using the same colour that we used for the base colour, but again just leaving the base colour in the recesses. And following the same with burnt umber. It's pretty difficult to really do too much with this because it's just a sheath, so you can just leave it on the edges, that original washed base colour on the edges, and everything else can get a nice fresh coat of that paint. And then same with the US dark green, just adding in a few little lines and dots on the grenades here that is tucked away on this torso, and then I'm using German Camo Medium Brown for all those buttons that are on this model. Using a nice fine brush. This is a size 0 brush, so the tip is very fine indeed, but yeah, it's going to look really nice. And then there we go, that is our model painted before we put him on the spinny turny table thingy mabobio. So he is complete, another US Paradon. I do love my airborne figures. I'd love to hear in the comment section how you found this, if you've enjoyed it, if you're going to grab some Mardav miniatures prints, or you're going to just get the STL files yourself. But these look absolutely outstanding. This is a 20mm figure. You guys loved the 28mm German stuff that I promoted recently. So yeah, it's another amazing model from Colonel Muller. He just puts out some amazing stuff, and the fact that it can be shrunk to 20mm and still retain all of those beautiful details is absolutely amazing, and credit to himself because it doesn't always happen. So yeah, massive thumbs up for me for this particular model. Now I must say a huge thank you to Mardav Miniatures for sending me out this sample, as well as a couple of others that were in the set too. This is the third Mardav miniature we've seen on the channel, or print I should say, so yeah, if you're in the room for some prints and you're in the UK especially, then this is the company for you. Now, special mention goes out to all of my Patreons and YouTube channel members. You guys are absolutely awesome. And if you want to join any of their ranks, you can do so for as little as $1 a month. But as always, I also have to say a huge thank you to my Panzer Aces. So that's Patrick, Oscar, James, Panzer Jim, Colin, Lack of Foresight Gaming, Mike, Mikey, Eric, Rothgar, Ian, Adam, Aislinn, Seti, and Tom. You guys are champions. I know I said recently that in some of my older videos that I'm getting inundated with Panzer Aces, and it is so true. It's just mind-blowing. I've got so many already, but thank you, Aces. You guys are all champions. Alright guys, I'm going to leave it here. Please do leave me a comment below, and until then, I will catch you at the next one.